Guys, look, I would like to take a step back to explain because not everybody like us and you, Felipe and Tina, for much longer than I do, research these things. We take time in our private lives. Before you became Dakila, you were interested. So I want to reach as much people that are don't know shit what we're talking about. So
Yes.
okay, can we go one back? Can you first explain in whatever order you want, but connection between 49 races, who they are, what are the difference between maybe other beings or ETs, okay? Ziggurat and Ratanabai, if you can put in a
Okay.
little.
In a very superficial way.
So, and because Dacila's
Yeah,
book
because it's a
Ziggurat
long story.
yeah, so maybe we can make like a timeline for people so they maybe, or at least in the time we have today, as much as possible to make a
Okay.
bigger picture,
That's a
let's say.
good, very good question. Now, who are the 49 races? They are 49 human races who have reached a very advanced stage of evolvement. All of them have transmutated. This is our real evolution. Okay? Evolution is not to be born, to grow old, to die, then come back and come back. This is not evolution. Evolution is to be able to accelerate your brain activity. I'm putting in a very in simple terms here, so that we can sort of understand. Evolution is to be able to harness your brain activity, to increase it exponentially, therefore accelerating the electrical jump between your cells, and you will consequently accelerate the protons, electrons of your cells that will begin to vibrate faster, faster, faster. We are light densified. You become subtler, subtler, subtler. You become more light, less matter. This is a basic thing. This has absolutely no spiritual, mystical implications. This is quantum physics, but of course, not of this world. No. So the 49 races, they have achieved this level already. They are 15 billion years ahead of us in technology. Billion, huh? So they're extremely, extremely evolved. 49 races, they are races that inhabited various dimensions, different dimensions. We have partners, as we call them, from the 5th dimension, from the 6th, from the 7th, all the way up to the 13th dimension. The 13th dimension is the dimension of the deities, what we call deities, It's a class of beings very advanced, highly advanced, almost like godlike creatures, beings, because of their amazing technology. Their technology, they call it the lilareal science. Unfortunately, in Dakila, some of us use it erroneously, this word. Lilareal science is their technology. Okay? So it's the manipulation of light beams, or beams of light. They can manipulate light with their technology. So they are subtler than us, but we can interact with them physically, verbally, face to face, in various stages. That's why we need to endure a very strenuous training, so that we can accelerate our brain activity in a synchronized manner and increase the electrical jump of our cells. Therefore, we can somehow meet in between. They lower down. Of course, they can lower down their vibration. They can densify. You see, they say that there are 13 fundaments of nature, okay? There are 13 rules that govern our world and their world as well. They taught us 7 so far, okay? Now, the MDPL are part of these fundaments. magnetism, density, pressure, and light. Gravity, as described by our science, doesn't exist as described by our science. The results of science of gravity, as we observe, it is the result of these fundaments: magnetism, density, pressure, and light, and they are sort of universal. Okay, now the partners with their very high brain activity, they can modulate their bodies. They can alter the magnetism, the density, the pressure, and the light of their bodies. Therefore, if they want, they can appear to us as they have. I have witnessed this. Nobody told me. I interacted with the partners in various occasions in different densities. For instance, I have talked to them. They were 100% physical. There's no way you can pick them apart from a person here. They're just like us, totally dense, flesh and blood. You touch just like us. They densify. I also experienced them, this same partner, in various densities. I have seen him and interacted with him fully physical, like a man of glass. Do you remember that film Predator with Schwarzenegger, where that guy becomes not invisible, but like a man of glass? Just like that, like a light silhouette, like a hologram, even in a very subtle fashion, where I can hear him 100%, but I can barely see him, just the outline of his body. There are various densities. They do that to train us, to train our perceptions, our eyes. Also, when they do that, they synchronize their brain activity with ours. So when he changes his density, he's training, instructing my body, my mind, that we can do that also. You see, they're not programmed. That's not the correct word. But he can transfer instructions subconsciously. We don't really understand this process, but that's how, they train us also. For instance, there are many times that one of the partners tell us, we're going to train you in teleportation. Look at me. And then he teleports. He appears here, then there, then on top of the tree, instantaneously, like boom, 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 boom. And you're like, oh, great, but what kind of training is that? He said, I am instructing you subconsciously. You are receiving and absorbing this information. Your brain is registering it. That's why, for instance, Chinino, that exercise with that plastic that we go like this? We scratch the plastic and it lights up. Why do we do that? We do that to instruct our brain that we can polarize our aura, our biomagnetic field. We can light up, like Uranji appeared, all lit up. We can do that, but we have to instruct our brain on how to do it. That's why the partners give us these very simple and easy exercises. They are so simple that many people do not believe they work. That's the stupidity of many people in Dakila. They say, this is too simple, it can't be right. And they don't do it, and they never manage to achieve certain levels of development. You see what I mean? So it's basically like that. So the 49, they tell us, we are your brothers, we are just like you, but we're just older with higher technology. That's the only difference. This is another mission that we have, is to tell people, stop with this, listening to this BS accounts of, DTs, they are like angels coming from the sky, they're going to save us, and all this bullshit that serves nothing, that changes nothing. They continue repeating the same little fantasy fable, and nothing changes. Partners, our interaction is very pragmatic, down to earth. When some newbies, are there present in our conversations, they get them and say, but how do you talk to them? Because we're like, come on, below, fuck it, man. We're like this, we talk to them as we talk to our between ourselves, normally. There's no this old reverence because you're light beams full of love. This is bullshit. You see what I mean? It changes nothing. You see? This is one of my concerns because I also received this. I received this mission from them. Not mission, but, this task. This was 14 years ago. One of the part was a woman from the 9th dimension. She was from the Antares system, which is not the Antares star that you see. The Antares star that you see in the sky is the projection of her world. And she told me, Felipe, we're sick of this mystical terminology, this mystical concepts. Talk like researchers. You have to tell them that our relationship is pragmatic, it's concrete, it's down to earth. There's no need to all this. This is no good. This is to dupe people, take them for a ride, to make them feel good about themselves, that they are protected by angels of light, that they're going to help them, that they're all like this, and they don't do anything to change anything. We are here to provide you with the tools, with the correct tools, with the correct information, so that you guys change. We can assist you when your sphere of action cannot reach. For instance, there are powers above the global oligarchies that you guys cannot cope with. Then we will interfere. But in the areas where you can do it, you are going to do it. That's why, you see what I mean? We're supposed to build. There are many people that they don't understand why we're building such a big infrastructure, why we're building banks, why we have a digital assets, digital tokens, why they have this, that. They don't understand why we're there in Dubai, in the Emirates, with a farm in the desert, planting in the middle of the desert with that. They don't understand. Well, we're implementing the technology concretely. Do you want what? Do you think you're going to live of love, universal love? This changes nothing. So many years we hear this pseudo contactees, the beams of light, and nothing changes, the same bullshit. The interesting thing is this: none of these ETs ever talked about the real shape of the Earth, how they really are, how the Earth system is, how the rings around the Earth operate. Nobody talked about this. And you keep talking about the solar system, that it doesn't exist. You see what I mean? You debunk. We already know who is really talking to aliens or not, just by the way they talk. When they start, no, because the solar system, the secret space program, there's no secret space program. Nobody has technology to pass by the Van Allen belt. This is a lie. So we know. You see what I mean? That is why, in my experience at least, for instance, in 2002, we were passing by a very bad phase. We had a MUFON director here in Brazil, Guevart, A.J. Guevart. He passed recently. He used to really persecute us, trying to shut us down, trying to shut our mouths. Why? Because we're a menace to these people, to this established, controlled opposition, as MUFON is. MUFON is a bunch of liars. They are controlled opposition. That's what they are. They've been smearing us. They have been smearing us for a long time. And in 2002, they're really going beyond any means, to smear us. And then the partners came to Urandia and said, Urandia, let's make an abduction. We will abduct you. We will take you. We're going to give you a window of time for you to prepare, and we'll take you. And we're going to leave plenty of evidence. And this is what happened in September of 2002. I was there. I witnessed everything. I was one of the first to break inside his room. When we entered the room, we saw, the imprints in the bed sheets, in the ceiling, the ozone smell there, very strong. My God, my hair was like, I had goosebumps, we were like, oh my God, what's going on here? Jesus, real, really. Because then in 2002, but to see something like that was crazy, And then I gathered all these photos. 3 days after Ranji was brought back. Of course, he was not abducted because he's been up there hundreds of times, He knew what he was doing. He went there to train, really. And then when he came back, I prepared an article and I sent to this guy in the States that I knew, Jeff Rance, who has a radio program online, very serious guy. And we had a 3-hour conversation with him on December of 2002. It was then that this conversation attracted the attention of Linda Moulton Howe. She is still the premier UFO journalist in the world. She called me and said, "What the hell, you guys?" Very arrogant. What the hell you guys are saying? It's crazy. It cannot be. I'm the #1 abduction researcher in the world. And I said, Linda, I know your work. I've known your work for years because of my past, I've known her since the 80s, so I knew who she was. You are a serious journalist. You're more than welcome to come down here and do the research. And she came in 2003, February of 2003. She came down here. She was supposed to stay like 4 days. She spent 12 days here. We allowed her to take the bed sheets, everything, the disc-shaped stone. She took everything to the States, had them analyzed. She produced a very small documentary, 20 minutes, showing all the evidence. She told me then, I kept a link with her, an open conversation with her for many months. And she was telling me, this is the most amazing abduction case ever. It doesn't exist with the evidence you guys provided me. Research in labs in the University of Pennsylvania, University of Philadelphia, biophysicist Levengood. Of course, he passed already. This was 20 years ago, guys. Biophysicist Levengood. She made one presentation in Seattle about this case. Open presentation. And who was there in the presentation, shouting like a madman, trying to cancel her? A.J. Guevara, the crook from Newfoundland here in Brazil. He flew to Seattle in order to try to, stop her spreading the news of Urangi and wasn't Dakila, was Project Portal then.
Yeah,
and she shut her mouth. She didn't speak anymore. She called me and she said, Felipe, I was threatened. I'm not going to talk anymore. Nobody wants to hear. Why? Because we would debunk all these pseudo experts. Because we have the conversation. We have it recorded, filmed. We can prove it. There are hundreds. It's not Orangi, a guru there, the all-knowing, soul contactee representative of the 49. There are hundreds of people. So it doesn't exist anything like this in the world. So that they will be exposed. So they don't talk about us. A couple of years ago, I had an interview on YouTube. I had a live with Alan Steinfeld. This guy is a major UFO. One of this, I saw
the video. I saw the video. I know who you're talking. The older guy.
Yes, the older guy. That guy is a major one. Did you see how uncomfortable he was?
He was all uncomfortable.
And he didn't know what to do. He was like, oh my God, how am I going to do it? And if I recently tried to download my interview because I forgot about it. I forgot to download it. He did something to the video that half of the video is frozen. Only the audio. Why? Because I was showing the videos. I was showing the footage of the partners, of Linda, of the research. It's a menace for these people. You see what I mean? It's surreal. Partners, they have contacted many people in the past, but it's the first time. That they have gathered such a group as we are in the fashion that we have been going about. It's the first time. And one interesting thing, partner said, this is the first time that something like this is occurring, that a group of civil persons from various walks of life, from many countries, they have been having physical, verbal interactions with the whole band of the partners, from the Gemas beings, who are third dimension humans, that assist the 49. They are not dimensional. They are planetary. They are third-dimensional beings, but they work with the 49. We are having context with these people, and also all the 49 races from all dimensions, all the way up to Lilith and Emmanuel, who are the heads of the 49. They are in the 13th dimension. It's the first time and will never repeat again in Earth history. The partners told us what you live in, it's something of history. It's going to be registered for humanity. All this. This is the first time where a group here, not only on Earth, in any third dimensional world, it's the first time where a group of people from a third dimensional world, such as ours, I have in physical, verbal conversations with the partners from all the 13 dimensions. This is unique, unique. So and this is going to be known. For instance, you talked about Lilith and Emmanuel, no? They are the heads of the 49 races. They came to talk to us a few times, but they talked to 4 people only. 2 of them are my parents, and they are old people, no? My father is almost 90 years old. My mom is 80 something. And they were the ones that had face-to-face conversations with them, recorded. And they're all old. The other couple already passed. They were very old too. And I was the one that listened to the conversations and did the transcriptions. So I heard them speaking. I heard everything they said. And also, when my father was doing the training, I used to take him to the place, where he used to have the conversation. I could not stay with him, but I could see them arriving and I could hear them talking many times. So it was fantastic, this. And I can tell you, really, that this too, really, you never, Gene, you read Portuguese, right?
Yes,
you never read the Livro da Aliança?
No.
The Livro da Aliança is the transcript of the conversation between them. It's amazing.
No, wait.
Livro da Aliança.
Yes, wait.
Livro da Aliança, it's very important. I did the transcription of the conversation between Lilith and Emmanuel, my parents, and the other 2 representatives. Only they spoke face-to-face to them.
Felipe, I would just like to emphasize that that all this, your conversation, I don't mean just this, but in general, everything is recorded. And
I don't know if you can see. I received
this is the one.
Contato com Emmanuel e Lilith.
Yes.
I tried to explain this to the people, but I didn't know that because there is no title.
Chine, don't do that. This is for us only, huh? Not just for the group.
I said
don't talk to other people.
Explain this, but I didn't.
Forget it. No. This is for us. No, doesn't matter.
Of course. No,
yes.
Nobody saw them.
Yes, 99% of our conversations are recorded, filmed. But of course, there are many times that I'm walking. For instance, I'm doing a test. They stop me. Felipe, they call me. I go, yeah. Do this, that, pa. Then I go and you see, there are many of these. So I don't have time to, even though I carry a recorder with me all the time.
I understand. It's okay. I just want to say that, like, my point was that, like, for people to know that this is, like we mentioned before, I just want to emphasize that this is, how to say, recorded. This is not something that group of people is making up, but it's like recorded, and at the right time it will be shown.
It's even more than that.
Okay.
It is the first agreement with Urandir and the 49. When the 49 races told Urandir, we want you to train 1,444 people at least to talk to us physically, verbally, face-to-face, as you do. Urandir said, okay, but I have one request. What was it? all our interactions must be physical, verbal, face-to-face, all of them. Therefore, in our interactions, there's no telepathy, there's no channeling. If anyone of Dakila comes and says, no, I'm receiving the information, this is bullshit. They are lying. This is not the agreement we have. Even with the orbs. We also we have specific training or activations by the partners to listen to the orbs. I had an experience where the partners activated me and I could understand the orbs. I could hear them physically. And anytime they talk, sometimes Uranji often talks to them. As a matter of fact, he's the only person in Dakar that talks to the orbs. The only that is fully trained that talks. I'm talking about conversing, chatting anytime, anywhere with the orbs. Okay, he's the only one. We are still training, but already had a chance to receive this activation from the partners. I had an experience of hearing several orbs talking to me at the same time. I could hear. This is another interesting thing. I could hear feminine voices and masculine voices. And after I asked the partners, well, the orbs are 100% energy. They have 100% energy, beings, fully energy. They have no mass, nothing. The partner said, yes, but they are still men and women. Then they said, polarity is universal. There's no androgyny. If you come and if you happen to have a conversation, or I don't know, a being appear to you who appears to be androgynous in nature, it's not natural. It's a synthetic being. It's a biological robot. Polarity is universal. There's always a female and a male. Even the orbs. When I heard of orbs, I heard women's voice and men's voice. And I was like, oh my God. So polarity is universal. Lilith and Emmanuel, they are at the top. It's a man and a woman. The partners, they do not explain the nature of God to us because they say that it's a very complex thing for us to fathom, you know. However, they tell us that there is a primordial couple, a man and a woman. Even in that level, there's polarity. Polarity is universal. Androgyny is synthetic. It's built. You see what I mean? So it's something incredible, this. And I had this experience, and I was really, something that really touched me, because we frequently hear, oh, I saw this being of light, this angel, the androgynous. In higher realms, there's no more duality. There's no sex. There's no genre. No, there is polarity, positive, negative. It's universal. So this is, I was really shocked to learn that. You see what I mean? So when I hear someone telling me that they talk to this spiritual being that had no sex, they were so evolved, I think to myself, he was talking to a synthetic being, some kind of biological robot made by some gray or Anunnaki, I don't know what. Yeah. They are synthetics around, huh?
I mean,